What's happening, you guys? Today I have another movie review for you. This is literally my favorite movie of all times. Now we're going to go back a little bit. There has been 2 movies after this, and we're not talking about the black and white version. We're not talking about the prison version. But we are talking about the Human Centipede, the first sequence. Yes. I remember the very first time I saw this movie, I must have been 11 or 12, maybe part of the reason that I'm so fucked up now. But I want to get right into this. I want to start off in the beginning of the movie. In the beginning of the movie, you see a German man staring at a picture of 3 dogs with their ass to mouth. Now that all comes into play, makes sense once you get further in the movie. The movie is about a German surgeon who kidnaps 3 tourists and surgically experiments with them. And basically he wants to make a human centipede out of them. Quote, the movie. He wants to practice his surgery on humans. He started out with animals, and that's what you see. That's the opening sequence you see. He's looking at this picture. From there on, you see him try to kill a man that is trying to take a shit in the woods. He's trying to use him for one of his pieces. That scene is very quick, not too much there, and it fast forward. The movie really starts out with some girls. You see some girls, they got that little slutty aspect to them. You can tell they're ready to go party, get drunk, let guys fuck them, like they don't give a fuck. They look pretty trashy, they look pretty farthest thing from classy. And so basically, they're driving. They're driving to this party, they get lost, like every horror movie. They get lost, they don't know where they're going. They try to look on their phone. Oh, no phone service. Biggest quote in movies. They stop next to... There's a guy that stops next to them. You can tell this guy looks creepy as fuck. Keep in mind, they are in Germany, and they cannot understand anything. The guy ends up putting his tongue out and saying basically he wants to eat their pussy and fuck them in a different language, which was German. And they're just freaked out, and they roll up the window. They wait for him to pull off, and what they end up doing is, their car stops, so they have to get out, and they're freaking out. They're like, oh, what should we do? Should we wait till morning? Should we go looking? And obviously their phones aren't working, like I said before. They get out, and they start walking around. They are right next to a big thing of woods, which, of course, horrible. Just horrible. I would definitely stay in that car until morning, but, no, they have to carry on the movie. They go and look in the woods, trying to find help, and they come across a house, a very, very secluded house in the back of the woods, and they see the lights on. It looks like a beautiful, beautiful property. The house looks gorgeous, and they think, okay, well, maybe this guy can help us. They go to the door and ring it. The guy opens it. He just looks creepy to begin with. He looks fucking creepy first off. For me, I think the creepy aspect kind of makes the movie even more hot, because I don't even know exactly how to justify that or explain it. It's just like, yeah, this guy's about to get it on. Like, we don't know what the fuck he's gonna do. We find out later, getting it on to him is, beyond getting it on. He's a whole different kind of freak. But basically, he lets him in. They ask, can we use your phone? Can you make a phone call? He tells them he takes them into the living room, and he says, okay, let me call a cab for you. Would you guys like water? Do you want something? Water would be good, one of the girls said. So he goes in there, fixes them up a water. When I say fixes them up a water, it's because he doesn't just give them the water. He pops some tabs in there to make them, I don't know if it was to make them go to sleep or exactly, it was basically the date rape drug. So he pops them in there and takes them. He goes in there to the living room, gives them the water. The one girl drops the water and he gets all mad, but the other one's drinking it. So they start to notice it's just a real shady, weird vibe. But because the one girl dropped her water and didn't drink as much as the other girl, the one girl starts like looking like she's having a seizure. Her mouth starts foaming, and the girl starts freaking out, like, what's going on with my friend? Like, what's going on? And then from there, it's kind of just downhill from there, because then the surgeon has to just take a needle and put her out, because at that point, being nice, that has gone a little out of the window. So fast forward, the girls wake up in his, I don't know, I kind of call it a laboratory, because he does do some experimenting down there. Very, very talented German man. Takes him down there. They wake up handcuffed to the bed, like little surgical beds. It looks like a little hospital down there. And there's a point in it that he ends up coming back. It doesn't show how he gets this guy. The original guy he got for the first piece, he ends up dying. So he goes and he gets some Asian dude. You don't know where he grabs the Asian guy from, but you just see him get him out of his car, and he puts him down there. And by the time the girls wake up, they're all down there looking at each other, freaking out. The German surgeon, very, very professionally, he goes down there and he tells them all, he presents his idea. He's got a nice little projector set up. He's got, what is that thing they used in schools? I guess it is like a projector where you can write on the little light and it projects it on the screen. He's got his setup, he's got his swag, he's got everything going on for him. He ends up showing the girls, when he gets them all calm and everything, he's had to drug them a couple times to calm them down, because I don't know, they kept tripping for no reason. They should just listen to him, let him do his little presentation. So anyway, he turns on the projector, gets everything set up, and he starts to show them. He's got A, B, and C, all the pieces, and he shows how he's going to connect the anus to mouth, mouth to anus. He showed the dogs first. He showed his demonstration of the dogs first to make them, I think, just to let them feel more comfortable. Like, look, guys, you aren't the first experiment. I've already had one. I guess the dogs did fail, so technically they kind of were their first, his first experiment, human at that. But he shows them, look, this is what I'm going to do. He shows them that he's going to have to sadly remove their teeth, because he does not want any teeth to be injected into an asshole, I'm guessing. Also, he has to remove their kneecaps, because they're not going to be walking no more. He needs them to be more like wormy-like, so when they're crawling, and also, I'm thinking, too, it's harder for them to escape if somehow they got undone. But he shows the whole procedure. He ends up, fast forward a little bit later, he ends up performing the procedure, and you see the German man in his living room. You see him looking so pleased with himself, so happy, big smile on his face. Must have been the biggest smile on his face he's ever had in his whole life. The most memorable moment. I'm getting too excited about this. I can't even talk straight. Most memorable moment of his life, and the camera zooms out and you see them all on the floor. First, they're all asleep. All three pieces are asleep, and they're on their side. And he goes and he hits them with this little, I don't know, it almost looks like the thing that you kind of hit horses with to make them run faster. He hits them with it, not too hard. He's not, rude. He's not mean. He just tries to, live his life. And, he just seems like a real nice guy. He just has some messed up fantasies. So he ends up waking up the centipede. It gets up, stands up, and, they're all freaking out and stuff like that. Obviously, I think I'd be a little freaked out too if I woke up with somebody's mouth on my asshole and my mouth was attached to somebody else's asshole. I'd be a little freaked out too, I gotta admit. He ends up taking him outside. He's trying to train it like a dog, really. You start to notice that. He feeds them. Well, he tries to feed them. He puts the food, the very front piece is the Asian guy. So he is the only one you hear, so You hear, the only thing you really hear when he talks is he doesn't speak English. He doesn't even speak German. So you just hear him freaking out, and he keeps telling him he needs to eat. The German guy keeps saying, you need to eat, you need to eat, you need to eat. And he sets the food down in front of him, and first, he doesn't want to do it. He starts rebelling, like, no, I'm not going to do this. Well, obviously, I'm guessing that's what he says. We can't really understand him. But eventually, he gets so hungry. The German guy even has this real badass cage, like, designed just for the centipede. Really unique, real nice that he designed it just for them. He puts the food in there, it's nighttime. It's an unspoken thing, really, with just a bunch of because you can't really understand what they're saying because they can't really talk. Well, the girls can't, at least. But, so the Japanese guy apologizes. He does speak a little bit of English. He apologizes and he says, I have to eat, I'm so hungry. So he eats, and the next day you see the German guy watching him, and as the front piece, the Asian guy shits, you see it going into the middle girl's mouth, and then she ends up shitting him immediately, and it goes into the last girl's mouth, and you just see this surgeon ecstatic. Feed, eat. He's just ecstatic that his creation is working. This is like his life dream. He finally completed it, and he is just head over heels beyond himself. He doesn't know what to do. So from there, what ends up happening is they start getting sick because they're not getting the proper nutrition, and all they're eating is poop. They're not getting any nutrition. The girl in the middle gets really, really sick. You can start to tell she starts getting like this infection, green pus around her mouth. It was not a pretty sight when they started getting real sick. The one girl ends up getting so sick where she ends up dying. And what's really crazy is that during this time of this creation he makes, the police do actually show up at the door to investigate, but they don't catch anything. They just don't catch anything. There was a time during the movie that one of the girls did break free. She tried to escape. She honestly could have almost escaped if she didn't go back for her friend, but sadly she had to be stupid enough and go back for her friend. Got caught by the German again. Basically, the movie ends with the Asian guy in the front. He ends up slitting his throat because he doesn't want to do it anymore. He gives up, which I think is funny too, because it seems like a lot of Asian cultures associated with killing themselves, kind of like that forest in Japan where people go and kill themselves. But anyway, that's a little off subject. Anyway, he ends up killing himself like that, and then the last piece on the back, that girl, she got so sick she ended up dying first. So the movie fades out with the girl in the middle literally just stuck there. Also, on top of that, they end up getting to the German guy, so he ends up being killed, but they're in the middle of nowhere. The police aren't coming. It's just that one girl in the middle, and she's stuck with a dead girl on her butt and a dead guy in front of her, and she's still alive. She's panicking and everything, which again, who wouldn't? But I'm guessing from there she dies. It just kind of, the camera goes out, and that's how the first sequence ends. After I saw the first sequence, I was really, really wondering if they were going to make other parts. The second movie, actually, I don't want to get too much into that one right now because I will probably get into detail more about that one in another video. But that one, actually, I think my brother and I really, really like that one more. I don't know, it's just a whole different vibe you get from it. It's more unique than the first one. Like, the first one's just kind of like a fucked up story, and the second one's just like almost independent looking, like extra independent looking. I think it is an independent film, but extra independent looking. And that one's really, really good. And the last one, the prison one, I have not seen the final sequence. I have not seen, and I really don't care to see it because, I mean, I probably will have to because this is a badass series. I really am into it. I do like things that are just very peculiar out there that they're just not things that you see in everyday films. I mean, it's very, very interesting to me to see how far films can push certain things and how, they can still be in theaters or they can still be on Netflix, and how they're allowed to do that. I love that. I love weird things. I love independent films. I love fucked up movies. That is just me. But yeah, the third one just looks like too much. A whole prison, ass to mouth. A whole prison. That just seems too much. But, and I think some of the people from the second movie, and the first actually, I think I brought back in that one. So that is something a little interesting. I will have to check that one out and get you guys a review for that one. But that's all for now, you guys. Tell me what you think. If you find this video interesting, if you are just as weird as me and into the most fucked up movies, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for some other reviews. And that's all for now, guys. Bye.